Matt Wilkinson, #1 in the world, on top of the Jeep leaderboard once again as he takes on one of his good friends and close rivals in Julian Wilson. These two have known each other for a long time and they're really close buddies and pre-surfs. Now they have the same goal in mind, to be a part of a semifinal with Felipe Toledo later on today on finals day. As we see that top 10 picture, we lost Jordy Smith, who's #3 in the world in the last heat. As we have some catching up to do during the break. We'll start off with Wilco's right here, Potts.
Yeah, Matty Wilco on his backhand, and well, you heard that before the heat started. This is where he started losing it last year. This is, well, hopefully where he can start putting a bit of gap between him and second place, but unfortunately goes down on that wave. Very similar to that little bit of vision we saw before. Julian Wilson also opening up his account. He's been looking so comfortable. He's been looking on fire. He's had 10-point rides of his own so far in this event, Joe, and you'd have to think conditions like this maybe would suit Julian as opposed to Matty Wilco. Hollow waves, there are barrels on offer, but once Matty Wilco gets that backhand attack going, he's going to be dangerous. Julian, wave selection, perfect at the moment, just bringing this one through the inside, that big swooping turn off the top that we've come to love from Julian Wilson. He's had an amazing run in this event over the years and finds himself yet again in a quarterfinal with an opportunity. And we see Jordy Smith on his way in. Look at that wave, Joe. Oh my goodness. Julian Wilson, slow-mo, nice clean tube ride for him. Flying down the line, that high line, you can see him sliding that foot back, hitting that sweet spot, and then just that beautiful searing maneuver. All set-up work right there for Julian Wilson. Every little move makes sense here at Jeffreys Bay with Julian. Beautiful style, nice clean surfing. That's what the judges are looking for. They want to see this connection of turns. They don't want to see any glitches. Jeffreys Bay, one of those waves where you spend a lot of time on the face of the wave. Is a lot of time to be exposed if your timing's off, if your board's not right. If there's something wrong, you will see it here at Jeffreys Bay. Julian looks clean. He looks in form.
Swinging for the nines. Julian takes a look. It's up to Wilco, and he will make a move. Now getting down to the bottom. Clean top turn wrap to get this one going. Frames it up vertically. A power hack, and he hangs on. Another big vertical. Throwing a rooster tail out the back, but he's down. So Wilco missing the opportunity with priority.
That wind's going to blow you over the back, and Matty Wilco just a little bit off balance on the first turn, so kind of threw him behind a little bit. Nice turn right there as he comes down off the bottom. Right here, bangs it up through the lip. You can see losing his balance just a little bit, and then going up high again and get blown over the back of the wave. So you really got to connect just before the lip, you know. And I think if you do that, you can see throwing the fins out the back on a wave like that with this strong wind, coming up the face of the wave. It's going to be very, very difficult to bring that board back down. You can see connecting with the lip, and I think on a today you want to do that three quarters of the way up the wave. You want to hit that.
You have to let the wave come to you, and I think Julian's really understood that. He looks very calm, very relaxed, and those beautiful bottom turns of his. I like that kind of wide stance where he kind of really sets up that rail and then just unloads like that, and then he's got that beautiful stylish off the top. So Julian is a surfer that's been knocking on the door for so long. It seems like his surfing is there, but mentally he hasn't really managed to put it together. Maybe it's a lack of concentration or focus, but every now and then you see the flashes of brilliance and you go, how come this guy has never won a world title?
It's such a great question that we've been asking for a long time, because we're right there with you, Sean. He has all the skill sets. Seeing the prize money get a lot better. We know they deserve every cent with the performances they put on around the world. Wilco paddling through the wind. He's not going to be able to catch up to that one. He doesn't have priority, so he's got a little bit more freedom to check the little insiders out. Now Wilson thinking about a backup here. Julian, one of the best bottom turns in the business, sets up the top turn wrap. It's starting to really run for him. He's got all the speed in the world that he wants, and he'll just jam one under the roof. Another nice steady wrap. You can tell Wilson's ready to unload or get absolutely shacked. Now here comes the fade into the double up wall. All timing. Wilson nice and deep, great positioning. Absolutely driving through this end section. Can he come out of here?
Oh.
Wilson beats the first. Super deep through impossibles. And that one is just gonna racetrack down the point. Great positioning, a lot of drive to try to go the distance.
Maybe he should have straightened out of that wave, and I reckon it would have gone up into the excellent range without a doubt, but there's a question mark now. Let's have a look. Beautiful turn to kick things off. Now he starts to do that high line there, extending the body. Beautiful bottom turn that we talk about, and almost lost it right there, but Julian Wilson just double pumps around the section, fading off the top again, and you can see him eyeing down the line. You've got to anticipate what this wave's going to do and then react accordingly. Now he fades off the bottom, waiting for it, hits the brakes, and look at this, absolutely perfectly driving through the section. And as he comes out of this first section right here, there maybe should have straightened out, but then going in again. So I think there's going to be a little grey area right there with whether or not the judges are going to deem that an incomplete ride, Joe. So for me, he should have come out of that first section, straightened out, and really stamped his authority on that wave. Now there's a question mark behind it. Have a look at this though, absolutely perfect stall. Look at that wide open that tube ride is. And Julian Wilson just wanting to stay in there as long as humanly possible. Perfect. I mean, that was probably one of the deepest, hollowest barrels we've seen in quite some time. Right there, straighten out, Julian. Come out of that. But in saying that, well, there's a bit of grey area right now.
Well, the situation now, we see Wilco trying to fight back. As we're waiting for that score from Wilson. Wilco still trying to get over a 3-point ride in this matchup. Now throws it vertically, but he's hung up. Another fall from world number one.
That's what gave them that ability to go, you know what, that wasn't an excellent wave.
Let's see if Wilco can turn things around, Potts. A little stretched out top turn. Just wants to get something solid on the board quickly. A big hammer on the back end. Still throwing risk through the lip. Swinging for that backhand arc one more time. Wilco, big windup. Another completion, big hollow section, but it's an absolute closeout. So he's got to sneak out of there.
Julian, opportunity gone begging there on that last exchange. Could have been a huge score.
Julian now up on a little dream run now. There's that classic car, hitting it beautifully right in the power source. Another big top turn wrap. Now he's deep on this one. Clampy barrel's not going to let him really put a score to the top two there. Wilson not even making an effort to look at this wave. And Matt Wilkinson's going to dig in here. First turn, top turn to slide. He's going for it. Doesn't have a whole lot of size on this wave, so he's pushing it. Down the line, top turn off the roof. Air drops in transition. The Wilco looking to hack it right on the pocket there, and he'll jam one vertically with an aggressive whip. He wants a little bit more through this inside corner. Big blast and extends the slide one more time, and Wilco steps out of there. So it wasn't a huge overhead canvas that he would love to be a part of, so he really tried to push it on that last effort.
Yeah, it almost seems like if he had done that in the beginning of the heat, it would have been a different result that we're looking at. But Matty Wilco leaving it to the last minute, let me tell you, he's could be, well, I think he's going to get himself out of the combo situation. He needs something around the 6.5 or so to get him out, and then he's going to need an excellent score. But this is better surfing from Matty Wilco. This is that traditional backhand surfing that we're so used to seeing. Now he starts to, once he finds his groove in the wave, that's where he gets dangerous, towards the back end of the wave. Instead of lighting it up straight away, he found his groove, found his feet, and now he starts to do those big tail sliding whips, and that's much better from Matty Wilco.
We're calling maybe one of the harder places to get 210s in a heat with all the time you have for anything to go wrong. So as we move into this one again, Potts, we see Wilco out of combo with his 707. Right here, he needs a 9-point ride. Deep off the bottom, an aggressive whip into the flats. Got a great line with a lot of energy. Blitzes it off the coping real quick. Wilco looking for more. Legs are burning, but he knows he got to stay on his feet. He celebrates the finish. And now Wilson heading that direction. Deep off the bottom. He's already in the racetrack section. It opens wide for Wilson. This time he'll get out of the escape route. As we approach the final minute, those will be the last two scores, and important ones. World number 1 left chasing a 9.0. Julian's been the guy since 2011 where he's been all over the top 10, and he's trying to really move closer to the top 5 picture here. How was his first turn on this exchange?
Yeah, nice little opening maneuver. Connected nicely with that one. Now he starts to really unload. And this is where Matty Wilco can be dangerous. Once he makes it down to this part of the wave, he's found his groove, and then he starts to unload big turns. Kind of missed that section again, kind of caught behind a little bit. That turn there, not going to do it, and then finished relatively strong. He liked it. That felt good. It was an opportunity that I don't think he was thinking he was going to get. Julian gave him that opportunity, but then behind him, has Julian Wilson improved on his wave? 7.9 is his second highest score. A couple of nice clean turns. Now he sees that inside section, setting it up. Nothing too special just yet from Julian. Slowly just milking his way through the inside. He's looking for the barrel. This is where the scoring potential is going to come from. Slides forward on his board, pulls into the barrel, driving through that end section, and comes out nice and clean. So 7.90 is what he needs to better to increase that 9.0. I think Matty Wilco is going to fall a little short, Joe, unfortunately, but beautiful barrel. Have a look at that. Jeffreys Bay is on fire here today. Maybe not as big as what we expected, but still, in saying that, nice, clean, beautiful waves. We've seen huge 9s from Toledo earlier on in the piece. An 8.17 on Jules, and there's the score dropping right now. Unfortunate for Matty Wilco. Julian Wilson walks away with a win and finds himself yet again in semi-finals here at Jeffreys Bay.
He's been so consistent at jbay, obviously splitting the points in the final, came back to a semi-final last year, and he's back in the semi-finals once again, this time with a matchup with Felipe Toledo.